Well, it is the 1st of November, and we are fortunate to have Reverend Donna Smith, who is talking about the Gospel of Thomas and the wisdom contained there within. So thank you very much, Donna, for joining us again. Um, I'm curious about what led you specifically to the Gospel of Thomas and the one fragment that you drew from. It actually kind of inspired me, to start doing sermons based on you know uh, single bits of wisdom. But I was curious about your process.
Well, it probably started a long time ago when I learned about how they selected the books that went into the Bible
Mhm.
and how many they just did not put in for whatever reasons. And I actually read about those reasons and I didn't agree with any of them. So I started collecting the Nag Hammadi library and other books and things that I could find that were not included in the Bible because I wanted to, see what that was all about and the teachings. And so I have been using those teachings actually a lot because they go into such a deeper aspect of who we are, and that's what's important to me. And the Gospel of Thomas is just filled with Jesus's teachings that are it just so, in my mind, pure, just pure, wonderful teachings. This one particularly, I am drawn to because it says to me that, we have everything we need. It's our responsibility to use that, to figure out what that is, who we are, and to live from that depth of who we truly are. And this teaching, even though the wording is very simple, I think is one of our most important teachings because, as you know, with the ego that we get, obviously, the moment we come into the physical form, we can really get sidetracked with our egos. So these kind of teachings help bring me back because for me, the world is very strong and it can pull me away so easy. So I don't want to say on guard all the time, but I'm aware of that. And when I go to teachings like this, it really does truly help me come back. And because one of the most important things for me is inner peace. And when I bring myself back, I can find that. When I'm pulled out, I don't find that. And I can tell, everything is just stressful, I guess, is a really good word for it. So when I'm feeling all of this stress, I know I'm not where I'm where my truth is. So that's a big red flag for me. So that's why I'm drawn to these teachings. I just think they're beautiful teachings that are going to help me. In theory, I know who I am. And on occasion, I will actually feel that depth, and it is so beautiful. And I want to feel that depth all the time. Not there yet, but these teachings help me on that path. So that's why they're very important to me.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, just because I'm terrified that some biblical scholar is going to come across this video. um, I as I understand it, the Gnostic Gospels weren't included because Apollos the their origin couldn't be traced to the apostles, and that they weren't particularly well known, and that they were many of them were written a significant time after the canon was established. Right? Are there some other reasons as to why the Gnostic scriptures didn't make the cut?
Well, I understand that the Gospel of Thomas was one that they threw out. And I think, they do not understand these teachings. They were well beyond what they knew. So if they didn't understand them, they threw them out. And also there is the this element of control that I think was one of the main reasons that they would look at these things. If it gave people power and they couldn't control that, it was one of the things that they did not allow. And I do want to say one thing, Michael. I love the Bible. I'm not judging the Bible. I am just at this point looking, elsewhere too.
Okay.
So if there's a biblical scholar here and you can give more insight into why they didn't include these, I'd love that.
Interesting. Well, no, and I love the Gnostic scriptures. So, I say read them all.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. So who's next?
So I'll go, Michael, if nobody else is ready.
Okay. Sounds great, JC.
As I ended up my thinking with you the last time we were chatting, I said, I'm getting the idea that if love is all that love is all, then that means that fear and all these other things, it's not that they're equal partners, they're under. So that if I'm suffering from fear or anger or needing forgiveness or whatever, I'm really looking for what is the love that will serve me right now. And the first sentence on the screen, forgiveness does not change the past, but it changes the possibilities for the future. I just said, right, that's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
Now I get it. And as you know, I'm in this big forgiveness with my daughter thing right now. And we're working closer and closer and closer.
Okay.
But that truth, and I don't care who Thomas was, if that came from Thomas, he had the right idea. And actually, when you think about it, Michael, and the people who were the choosers of the things to go in the Bible, they really weren't big on us being able to stand alone.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
They weren't big on us being able to understand the real mystery. And that, to me, is the real mystery. It's not about what was done. It's about the passing of time and what will now be done.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I don't think that they actually understood these higher teachings anyway. Because back in those days, when Jesus came in, this was a whole new way of looking at things. And even his apostles had a hard time with it. So you can imagine other people trying to figure all this all out. So, but what JC said, if they didn't have any control over the people, then they didn't want it as part of their...
Absolutely.
That's kind of a strange claim, though, when you think about it, because this was not a state religion. This was a religion that was largely subversive, and so you would think that they would be interested in empowering individual people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean,
may I interject?
Yeah.
By the time of the Council of Nicaea, it was the beginnings of a state religion.
Right. But that was what, 300 years or so? I think.
Yes.
Right.
After that time, it was advantageous to the waning Roman Empire to exert what control they could where they could.
Right, but the canon had been pretty well established before that.
No, Council of Nicaea is the
I promise you the canon was well established before the Council of Nicaea.
But they decided to get control of it.
Huh. Okay. Well, sure. And fair enough. I wouldn't want to turn this into a history lesson. I just I wanted to make sure we were clear on.
That's what I was left, and that's why I'm smiling. So that the current Pope has just plain decided that same-sex relationships are fine. Mm-hmm. God loves them all, and that has really got people going. So, how things get changed are hard to know.
Yeah, it's true.
Evolutionary.
Laura Lee wanted to say something.
Yeah, I don't have a history background or not nearly the background that all of you are talking about. However, it's my impression that people during that period of time, just before Christ and during Jesus's time and following, it was generally accepted that people were idiots and that they had to be led. And I think, wasn't that the reason Jesus was crucified, was because the Pharisees and they, it's a threat to the Jewish order. And I may be wrong, but even up to our founding fathers, that's the reason we have the Electoral College, is because they figured that the individual was not that intelligent enough to be able to decide on who the president should be. So they have the Electoral College that has that power.
We cannot have another conversation about pure democracy.
No. No, I didn't even go that far. But then, I mean, it's just kind of the general. And to me, today, your average person has a great deal of knowledge and insight. Just observing and listening to you guys talking, you've got the history, you've got the background, the gospel according to Thomas. I didn't even know that existed. So I'm impressed with the average intelligence of today.
Cool.
And in our congregation.
We're a smart bunch.
Yeah.
I'm good at making snacks.
Yeah, that's
yes, you are. You're the queen.
We're a bunch of smart Alex is what we are.
Well, I just wanted to say, for me, I think Constantine was influenced by his mother, who was at Helena.
Yep.
And, so we don't really know all the reasons or why it happened and the state of mind of everybody at that time. And, actually for me, that doesn't matter. I want to know what these teachings mean for me. And so that's what I concentrate on. Mm-hmm. So, because my quest is to be a better person, mm-hmm. while I'm here.
And I agree with that.
And these teachings do that for me. They give me that, that path, that next step sometimes when I'm, maybe faltering and not staying present.
And I appreciate you sharing
mm-hmm.
that. It was very enlightening for me.
Laleen wanted to say something.
I'm not sure how this is going to all get said, but I'm missing a connectedness to my Unitarian faith. And what that would look like for me today, Donna, and please don't take this as criticism. It's not meant that way. But we're about to have an election in 2 days, and there's a whole lot going on in the world. And to take off on what was said a minute ago, I really believe that my faith is to be lived out loud. And it certainly has changed over time as I have grown, but my life has been about who I am and how that plays itself out in what my world was at a given time. And so I was left hungry this morning, Donna. I wanted you to say something about the the importance of each of us bringing that love and that light shining into today, right now, and tomorrow, and Tuesday, and Wednesday, and that no matter what happens, it's how we are in the world. It's how I am in myself. But the Unitarian piece for me is, how will I take that out into my world and the people I interact with and the responses that I have as the election results are being posted, and how will I be with my neighbor who stuck up a Trump sign, the only one on the street, if Biden wins? How will I be with my neighbor if Trump wins? You understand what I'm trying to say? So I guess I was wanting to be fed in that kind of a way this morning. And I wasn't able myself to do that. Okay, yes, I believe all of this. I made some wonderful notes, but I wanted to go somewhere else. It could have been the last sentence even. I was hanging on to the last
I think I understand what you're saying. And please don't take this the wrong way. How you do this is your responsibility, not mine to tell you how to do it. And that, you know what I'm saying, because that's going to be different for everybody. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so, and actually what I try not to do is tell people how to do it. I try to.
I wasn't looking for a how-to.
Yeah, or what to do too much, you know.
What I said to JC, I said, is the word obtuse? Am I needing something a little less inner-centered? Is that too obtuse for where I am right now? And that may be it, but I certainly was not wanting you. I never want anyone to tell me what to do.
Yeah, good, because I'm not going to do it.
No, you know me, that wouldn't.
Yeah, I know that wouldn't work for most people. She's telling me what to do. No, but what my whole purpose was to help you understand that your wisdom about everything in front of you is within you, not outside of you. And when you bring that forth, all of these things in front of you, you will know what to do because you're coming from that wisdom, you know? And if we are caught up in the frantic, fearful, what's a word, you know, just it's crazy right now. When we get caught up in that, the likelihood of you making wise decisions are probably a lot smaller. And so that was my message. You can handle anything in front of you when you're coming from your wisdom. It doesn't matter what it is, an election and all of that. And by the way, they stole all my Biden signs, and that beautiful sign that you gave to Lauren with, you know, Black Man, you know, that they stole that. And later I saw a fire down the street. I think they stole some signs and burned them. And
I did that in 08. The mistake, the mistake they made. Are we still on?
Yeah. So everybody can still be heard. And Claire's been aching to get in for a little while. So
no, I'm patiently waiting. Yeah. I saw maybe a little differently, Laline, that there is a way kind of to tie it together, and that's the I think it's Lao Tzu who wrote about, in order to have peace in the world, it starts with peace in the nations, and in order to have peace in the nations, you have to have peace in the states, and in order to have peace in the states, we must have peace in our communities. And if we're going to have peace in our communities, we must have peace in our neighborhoods. And if we're going to have peace in our neighborhoods, we must have peace in our homes. And in order to have peace in our homes, we must have peace in our hearts. So there's the roadmap to how you get it from in you, without you. And I heard Donna telling us how to reach that peace inside. And the Lao Tzu is kind of the roadmap of how to get it, from how it works, that it will then come naturally from within us through our families, our neighborhoods, our communities, our states, our nation, become the peace in the world that we are all seeking. But until we have that, and if we're not starting with the peace in our hearts, it doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to come forth. Who you listen to, what religion you follow. That's how I kind of brought it to round.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want to respond to that at all, Donna?
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and
that's exactly. Yeah, he went backwards, and back to where the beginning is. But yeah, it's wonderful, because when we start here, we go forth. Then we can,
right.
Well,
yeah.
it makes me think of the Gandhi quote that be the change you want to see in the world. It's yeah.
Yes.
Same kind of spirit. Real quick, can everybody see the chat?
Whoops. Where are you?
What chat?
Well, that answers that question. All
right. Well, no, I
see it. There's five of them in there.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
all right.
Small.
Yeah. So real quick, when somebody raises their hand, or that's how I communicate with you, so I don't have to interrupt who's ever speaking. So, all right. Who's next? Yeah. Laura Lee, but maybe somebody who hasn't gone yet. No. Okay. All right, Laura Lee, it's all yours.
Yeah. This last conversation that Anne and Donna had reminds me of one of my very favorite songs, and I can't even remember the name of the song, but it's "If everyone lit just one little candle, bright world this would be."
Yeah.
That's all I can remember of it.
It's called One Little Candle.
Is that it? Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. and
so
I
true.
agree.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, hey, all right, I guess it's time to call on people. So Kim, you wanna interject?
Okay.
On anything that's been said.
Well, I remember the sermon about forgiveness, and I'm still working on that one, because there's somebody that I can't forgive right now. And I've been, praying to God about it, and he although he doesn't care for that, he's accepting it with me right now, because he understands where I'm coming from. But I understand sometimes you need to forgive, even if what they did was bad, but I just can't do it right now.
And Kim, I want you to know that's okay, because it's really, really important that you allow those feelings, and whatever they are right now, they're helping you. And so processing those feelings is very important, so that they can be transmuted eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think about it a lot, so it's not affecting my life. It's just because yesterday at church, after church, we were talking about how, you gotta forgive and this and that, and I'm like, I can't forgive this person. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And that's your own path, so you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And you will. I know for me, the first time I forgave, it was so powerful that I had no idea what it meant until that point. And I think in my talk, I mentioned that I had an Akashic Records session, and this shame came up about something I did a long time ago, and I had totally forgotten it. But when I looked at that and forgave myself, wow, it was such a great feeling. And it's like taking the burden off. And I'll share with you that I'm having a little bit of difficulty breathing when I start exercising. And so I'm wearing a heart monitor right now. They're just checking things out, and my lungs are fine, all that. It's going to be fine. But when I did that, after that moment, I have been able to breathe a lot lighter. So that releasing that helped me that much, physically even. And so I'm waiting to go into the doctor at the end of this month, and he's going to say, "What happened? You're okay." You know, I let go of some stuff, you know, and then he's going to just probably laugh at me. But this is what happens. It can really help you physically, not just emotionally and mentally, and even spiritually. It can physically help you. So that was so quick that I was encouraged again, you know, to go back in there and find those things in there within me that I want to release. So that's why I shared that with you. So yeah, just be gentle with yourself, Cam. Yeah. Really, I'm serious. Be very gentle with yourself. Yeah.
And also, you know, Kim, being from a Christian perspective, you know, we talk about it a lot, but of when you're not gentle with yourself, you know, that is playing God. That's you know, judging yourself for not measuring to God's standards. You know.
Yeah, he said that to me. I'm like, oh,
yeah. Right.
Supposed to judge myself. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Kim.
Glennis, do you feel like did anything come to mind?
When speaking of forgiveness, I've discovered that holding the anger against someone, or holding the wrong that within my heart for so long, is not doing that person any harm whatsoever. It's just harming me.
Yeah.
And so what you've said or quoted about bring forth what is within you will save you, and what you do not bring forth will destroy you. So, you know, it just up, deal with it, and out, and be done with it, because it is only hurting you. You know, that other person he probably doesn't even care. You know, so let it go. Let it go. It's not a thing, and it can't be your story. And that's the other thing. If you get stuck in that repeated, things have happened to me, and I'm a victim, and you just bury yourself even deeper, instead of learning to climb out. Let it go, so that it is not your story. You have a different story. It's a much happier and healthier story. So the last thing I actually wrote down as a note here is that destruction and salvation are under your own control. Mm-hmm. And that comes back to the point of power is right now. It's now. This is you if you don't like it, change how you react to things. You're not going to change somebody else, just you. And letting go of things and causing that forgiveness within you is the most powerful way I can think of to do that.
Yes, thank you very much, Kim. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
I heard once during a Unitarian sermon about forgiveness that forgiveness doesn't mean that you have to trust somebody who has proven themselves untrustworthy to you. It has, and it goes right along with what Glennis was saying. It has nothing to do with them at all. And letting it go, they don't know whether you even ever had it. But yes, it doesn't mean you have to put yourself in harm's way. Yeah. And that made it a lot easier too for some of those big ones that really hurt. Yeah, it doesn't mean I have to reestablish a relationship, or I don't have to date that person. Yeah, whatever. Just let it go. Yeah, but it's not going to continue to hurt me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wise words. Although I would like to say that there is great power in going to someone and saying, I forgive you. Mm-hmm. You know, that Connie had her hand up.
Well, first of all, I'd like to ask Glennis if she would send me by text or whatever, that last quote. I tried to hear the name. I kept going back and over. It was Abba anyway, I would like to have her send me that quote. And secondly, I guess this is a response to Lilene in terms of what she was feeling and what we're wanting. What, I don't know, what struck me after listening to the sermon today was, what do we do when we're out of our comfort zone? What are we going to do? I mean, we're already out of our comfort zone. So I think, in fact, I think I might write about that for the Connie's Corner or whatever. But I really think it is important for us to all look at that, because I think that ties into our ability to forgive. Because, you know, whatever we're holding inside is not in our comfort zone. And so I think we all need to explore that. If we respond with withdrawing, or if we get angry, you know, what do we do when we're out of our comfort zone? So that's kind of my input for all of us, I think, to take a look at. And in the next couple of days, on my walk this morning, I thought so much about, you know, preparing myself for what kind of thoughts or what kind of things are going to come out of my mouth in the next couple of days. And anyhow, so I throw that out.
Connie, which quote are you referring to?
The very last, the one by Omaba, I forget his name. I couldn't catch
the closing words in the service.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have those. I can send them to you, Connie.
Okay.
You want the closing words? Let me write that down. I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, because I couldn't catch the name exactly. So.
Well, that's because I couldn't.
It's not an easy name either.
Yeah.
So. Thank you, Connie. I just wanted to say one thing about our comfort zone. And I can't remember who I was reading just recently, actually. But, you know, when we stay in our comfort zone, it's very safe there. And we keep things just like we want them to be. However, if you can step out of your comfort zone, those are those big opportunities to grow. And those big opportunities to see more about yourself. And I think, in our nation right now, we're getting a lot of opportunities to do that. And so really there are opportunities to grow. And I know we don't want to go out too far sometimes, because sometimes it's hard, but but they are opportunities for us. I just wanted to add that.
Well, Connie, I think you had one more thing.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to respond to that in that if we don't learn to observe ourselves, then we don't know what we're doing when we're out of our comfort zone. I mean, what I observe among my friends is they get themselves so way out there with anger or whatever, you know, and my comment was, I think we all need to sit back, especially right now, and look at what we do when we're out of our comfort zone.
Yep.
Or what are we going to do, you know?
Yeah. And that for me is where that wisdom comes in. Our inner wisdom is really going to help us out there. Yeah.
And I think it's a good argument for not kicking people out of your life for them not thinking the way you do, right? Which is an absolute epidemic in this country now, you know, unfortunately. We haven't heard from Martha yet.
I had so much going through my mind. Everything that has been discussed has affected me, and I'm going around and round and round. Over time, I have learned not to waste my energy with anger. There are things that bother me, yes. I accept those things that bother me. And I found that forgiveness is not hard if you allow it to happen and not fight it. Now, there's a lot of things probably that I need to look at more deeply, but on the surface, day to day, I try to use my power inside. That's basically, I was raised a lot by the same things that Donna was saying in my former life as a young kid. That God is love. It's within you to have the power to do what you need to do and do it without hurting others.
Yeah.
I find when I deal with my brother, who is a very angry person, who really needs to go inside and figure out where all this anger is coming from. And I find that I just have to let it go. I can't fix him. It's not within my power. I still love him. When we discuss things and talk about things, we talk about things that are mutually interesting to us. And it doesn't make any sense to get into arguments of things that you cannot control. I can't control him. He can't control me, for example. So yeah, I'm taking all these things in. I'm writing copious notes. I'm very fortunate, Connie, that I do have every word that has been written on my hard drive here on my desktop. So while you're talking about all this stuff, I'm looking at Donna's stuff and I'm saying, oh, there, yes, that makes a lot of sense. And that makes a lot of sense. And I'm writing. And it helps me to write things down because I can see it because I'm a visual person. Mm-hmm. So I was very moved by the whole thing, the gentleness of it and the power that's within us. And yes, we're all going through some very difficult times. And I found myself getting upset about a couple of things yesterday. And I thought, you know what, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. We have to have the power to say, watch what you're reacting to. What energy are you expending?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. I think that's very important. What energy are you emitting? That's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Martha.
Yeah. And Donna, correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, that we're in an open conversation, you know, and so we write that you're willing to address any part of the topic of the sermon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if there's anything, even if it's not directly related to the current strain of the conversation, you know, you should feel free to bring it up because from my perspective, Donna, this was among your best talks. Honestly, I felt very privileged to be there to record it. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Julianne, did you want to say something?
Well, forgiveness is much easier if you can stand back and think for just a moment that perhaps this is just part of your soul's journey. Part of the work that you have to do. You'll be given many opportunities for minor transgressions, but everybody gets a big hit.
Yeah.
And think carefully about the long-term consequences for what I think is your eternal soul if you choose to carry that anger, that wound into the next existence. And it's much easier to get all that stuff done now.
You know, I think I've shared this with you before, but Julianne brought this up for me. Every morning in my spiritual practice, I talk with the Holy Spirit. I say, Holy Spirit, help me learn my lessons in a very, very, very gentle way. Okay. And, you know, I think it works. I think it works. You might want to try it. You don't have to ask the Holy Spirit, just, you know, ask the divine, help me to learn my lessons in a gentle way.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people will say, you know, that, you know, if you have anger, you might have to express that in order to get it out. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I now know myself well enough to know, do not let anger make a home in your heart. You know, that it will,
does not help.
It will only fester. It will never yield a good result. So
right.
Yeah.
And anger is for me, it is that red flag that says, okay, there's something going on within me that I need to look at. But like you said, Michael, don't hurt anybody with your anger. Burn a pillow or do whatever you want to do. But
well, you have some experience with that.
I do. Yeah. And I felt good when I burned that pillow, let me tell you. So, but that's it. Don't hurt anybody, but you have to let it out, like Michael says. Otherwise, if it gets stuck in there, oh gosh, there's just so much it's going to do to you, not the other, but to you. Yeah. And, but if it comes up, say, oh, okay, now what do I have to look at? What is this all about?
Mm-hmm. Well, Lucy, I don't think we've heard from you yet.
I've enjoyed listening to everybody, and it's so funny that everybody has said exactly what I was going to say, so there's no...
Right.
What does that mean? I've enjoyed listening to everybody, and one thing came to mind, and I always try to look for the silver lining, and with my short-term memory problem, I'm not sure if it's forgiveness or forgetfulness. They
become one and the same, do they?
Well, what are those people, like, they're very rare, but they can remember like every part of their life, like they could remember what day it was like 20 something years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought, God, what a curse. I would, it seems something really cool, but then no. I don't.
I know. Yeah, there's a great there's something to said for being, forgetting things, because I try to go back to my childhood. I remember a few things, but I just don't. I don't remember those things. I think they will come up if we need to remember them, though.
I think so.
Sure. You've heard about Irish Alzheimer's, right?
What's that?
What? Say it again.
Irish Alzheimer's. That's when it's the Irish. They forget everything except the grudges.
Oh.
Well, it did serve their civilization well for about 2,000 years. So.
I come by it honestly. It's genetic.
Well, the very Greek and non-Irish Paul. No, I say that I actually don't know, but what are you thinking, Paul?
Actually, I'm both.
Oh, okay. Oh, shows me.
My mom was Irish, my dad was Greek. So
wow.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Well, it's been very fascinating listening to this interchange here today. I've been focusing a lot since I've gotten back to Oregon about forgiveness, and it's as we progress along the pathway of life, we have more and more opportunities to forgive, because there's more and more things that arrive in everybody's lives that merit forgiveness, and how the ego is like a suit of clothes that you can house your soul in and battle and slug your way through life. But it's that process of letting go of your ego that really matters in this process of gaining enlightenment of yourself. And that's been my particular process since I've been here, is learning to forgive and let go so that I can progress along and find my true inner self.
Yeah.
So thank you. It's been a really good sermon today. Great job, Donna.
Thanks, Paul. Good to see you again.
Yeah. Lot of wisdom in this room.
That's for sure.
Yeah. So, well, you know, I think we've heard from everyone. Does anybody want to go around too? And
we could sing Kumbaya or something.
Good, although this audio never seems to work. But.
I still have the number 5 on the chat. Are there people in the chat?
Oh, I don't see anything in the chat.
Oh,
I see 5.
I see 5.
No, mine. No, nothing.
Yeah,
huh.
They're gone. Those are gone.
Well,
okay, Donna, you and I have 5 people on ours.
We can have a party, Lurley.
Yeah. I'll provide the snacks.
Okay. I'll provide the wine.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are we satisfied? Is this Lucy?
Yeah, sorry, I've got so many windows and things open. I'm trying to find my Zoom thing. Speaking of songs, I know if I recently posted on the Facebook page a song that I found that I thought was apt. I've been kind of trying to keep this in my mind, preparing for Tuesday, but it's called The Sound of Sunshine Coming Down. And there's a video on there with the song. So maybe you want to check that out. It's a real fun song.
I saw that this morning. It's real cute. Yeah, it's a real sweet music video and song. Yeah.
Is it on the UUU Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I think Lucy, I think you posted it to your
I did. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I posted it on mine, but for those of you that are not my Facebook friends,
yeah, it's real sweet. So
good.
Oh, one other thing, and this is for you folks that are on the Sunday Services Committee and whatever. I know that in the past, some people have complained that, you know, the volume they can't hear and such. Somehow we need to, and for the service coordinators that do the upfront spiel about, you know, contacting people and helping, that's excellent. Maybe you can put in there that on YouTube, that if they click on the CC button, the closed caption, it'll print out everything that everybody's saying.
Oh, that would have been nice.
I'll add that immediately.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's something I think we need to do.
That would have been
good.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay. Well, without any. Oh, Connie.
I just wanted to tell all of you that I have 2 friends, one in Florida and one in Indiana, that listen to our services, but they've commented on how much they enjoy the discussion. So I want to know that there are people out there tuning in on the discussions and feel that they're really worthwhile.
Well, introduce us to them. What are their names, their first names?
Well, Karen in Indiana, I think, anyway, that's my best friend from college.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. And then also one of my surrogate kids, Catalina, who lives in Florida.
Hi, Catalina.
To them. Hi.
Oh, so if they listen to this, yeah, that's cute. Thank you.
That's great.
Karen and Catalina, thank you. And and thanks to everybody in India who always watches my services. So
yeah, your service service had a lot of hits.
Yes.
Last week. I was looking at that and I went, whoa, fans. A lot of fans.
Yahoo!
Well, Donna, do you want to close us out? You want to
carry us out?
Yeah.
Sure. What? What'd you say, Martha?
I just said carry us out.
Oh, carry us out.
I mean, you know.
Okay. Well, I just, you know, I know that forgiveness is one of the hardest things to do, and it's a hard thing for everyone, and yet it is our most important thing to do because it definitely leads to freedom, and it also leads to peace and even health. But it's a journey, and it's a journey. So that's why I was saying to Kim, be very gentle with yourself, that is very, very important. And when you start just being gentle and just allowing, it will actually flow. And you will get to a place where you actually invite forgiveness. But, you know, again, be gentle with yourself on the path, because if you're not, then you are actually judging yourself, as somebody said before. So I also want to say I appreciate each and every one of you, your comments, and you're so, you know, so willing to go so deep into these discussions and these teachings that everybody, not just me, but everybody brings to this you. And I just appreciate that so much. I love these discussions. It brings us back together. Even though I can't give you a hug, I just love seeing your faces. And so I just want to thank you for just being here and being in the present moment and sharing. It's so important for us to share.
Yeah.
So great. So take care of yourself, especially this week. This week, very important.
Right
very
back
important.
at you, Donna. And
Okay.
we will see everyone again in 1 week. Have a great Sunday.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.